Thanks for tuning in to Born to Ride TV, the longest running biker TV show in the world. This week, see Steve Lamb's ultra bad Boss Hoss. This proves the new owner of Crystal Harley-Davidson knows horsepower and speed. Then Dale from Wheels Through Time takes us into the time machine. And legendary NASCAR racer Jeff Bodine talks about his spectacular crash in Daytona and more. All this here and now on Born to Ride.
Hey, I'm Jeff Bodine, Jeff Bodine's Honda of Melbourne, and you're watching Born to Ride TV. Stay tuned for more.
Oh yeah, biker ride.
Oh yeah. Born to Ride.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Born to Ride. That's us.
Hello, this is Tom Anderson from Crystal River, Florida at Crystal Motorsports. We're here with Ronnie to unveil our new 2011 Boss Custom.
Ron, we'd like to introduce you to our newest creation. This is Tom Anderson. He is a master builder and runs the motorsports operation here for my wife and I. And we have built some Boss Hoss chassis in the past, but nothing like this one. This is our proudest creation to date. We started off with a bear kit. I handed it over to Tom and said, let me see what you can do.
Yeah, we tried to narrow it down. I'm used to building our twin engine bike that we did, a lot of choppers that we done for Steve. We're trying to build a bike with a little bit of narrowness to it, which is hard to find in a bike that has a V8 motor. This is a late model Corvette 2011 motor, and we just started with that chassis. We got rid of all the fiberglass sheet metal. I've got a great staff with me with Kurt Hum, our fabricator, Lou Huntington, our painter. We just got some nice artists involved with us. We've been here 12 years, so this is what we started with. Steve always surprises me with what he's going to build next. I wasn't expecting a Boss Hoss chassis, but our major thing is I never liked the big wide tanks that we had on these Boss Hosses.
Right.
So Steve said, well,
Get rid of it.
wait, get rid of it. So we found a way to get it down inside the front, in front of the rear wheel, being aluminum gas tanks holding 6.5 gallons, which took us about 2 weeks to make. Had to lower the battery, had to make some changes. This is the new shock version, so it makes it a little easier. The Softail type chassis that Boss Hoss makes wouldn't take this setup because you have no room to put a tank in. So then I wanted to incorporate old school. You know, I'm getting over 40, so I wanted to kind of stick with the old school.
Yeah, you got a lot of practice at being over 40.
So anyway, we use 57 Chevrolet Dash. This is just a cover. The injectors are so high in this fuel-injected motor that it makes it kind of tough to get too much styling. So this is what we came up with. That dash is exactly the same width as the front triple trees. So I started out there, and we just would help a Kurt Hum, who is a great designer also. So we just worked our way back. I added some Corvette taillights because Steve deals with with the dealerships here, a lot of Corvettes. So we kind of coordinated that all in together. We got Chris Cruz, our artist from DeLand, Florida, to kind of help me lay out some Corvette stuff. It's about probably a foot and a half narrower than most of the Boss Hosses due to that huge gas tank. We got a better, Steve rides these quite a bit. He says he's got a lot better balance with the gas tank being low, and and the center of gravity. So that kind of plays into our whole concept.
Well, I've ridden a lot of Boss Hosses, the big blocks, the small blocks. First of all, the LS3 engine is all aluminum, so it's super light to begin with. And then Tom and Kurt were able to put the gas tank low and the battery even lower. The bike literally rides more like a sport bike than a Boss Hoss. It's still a little torquey when you crank the engine, but past that, the bike is so easy to ride, very agile as Boss Hosses go. There's just no feeling like it. The bike is so solid because it's so massive and it's so light that I cannot tell you how it tracks down the road, how smooth the bike runs. The LS3 engine is computer controlled fuel injection designed to run smooth. And you put all this combination together and add Kurt Hum in, who's probably the best fabricator I've ever known, and then you put Chris Cruz with his artistry in the mix. This is what you're able to come up with.
Crystal Harley-Davidson in Homosassa is hosting a summer payment event. We can help you find your personal freedom with a payment that fits your personal budget. Every motorcycle has payment options clearly posted on it. We have brand new Harley-Davidsons for only $99 per month, 1.99% for 60 months, and 0 down payment options. Remember, at Crystal Harley-Davidson, we are the king of trades, offering you full Blue Book value for your trade-in. There is always something happening at Crystal Harley-Davidson.
About 12 years ago, I needed a building to house my antique cars and motorcycles, and so we built this original 10,000 square foot building, and my employees lovingly call it the Toy Barn. And for several years, we did some light building. The collection grew and grew and grew, and then Tom and I decided that maybe we were moving a little too fast, and we wanted to build something that was really special. So we started taking our time and thought through the whole project, design, build, paint, and everything. And you know, I don't know what number this is. Probably this is a 10th or 12th bike that we've done. And this facility itself is in Crystal River, Florida, about 60 miles north of Tampa. It is a total of 16,000 square feet and plenty of room for us to do our projects. The only thing we really don't do here is the heavy metal and the paint work. A lot of the original bikes Tom built me are here. I've got a collection of Cushman scooters. I've got my T-Bucket, my 69 Camaro I've had since I was 16 years old. My dad was a Chevy dealer in Orlando, and that was a present at 16. And then our 54 Chevy pickup truck, which was a 7-year build, but we're real proud of it. And the little white Jeep down on the lift down there is a 1969 Jeep, very rare 2-owner Jeep with 2,800 miles on it. And then I have one of my favorite toys is my airboat back there in the corner, powered by a 572 cubic inch Chevrolet engine that produces 720 horsepower. And it is a lot of fun to drive. And one of the things that we are most proud of here is that we use this facility for 5 different fundraisers a year in this county, and we have raised literally millions of dollars over the years with those fundraisers. And my wife spearheads all that, and we're real proud that we can make this facility available to the public for these fundraisers, because let me tell you, the guys love coming here. Our special interests are the United Way, the Boy Scouts, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, the Boys and Girls Club, and then in the last 2 years we got a charter for a YMCA here, and that was our most recent fundraiser here with a couple of hundred people. Had a phenomenal night, raised a ton of money, and working towards our capital campaign to get our YMCA built. There are other charities we're involved with, like the homeless and our church and so forth. We feel like we need to be giving back to our community, because the community has given so much to us. The Bible says, for those that much is given, much is expected, and that's the way my wife and I lead our life. And I got to tell you that the community has always stood behind us. Even in 2008, when the car business really took a dive, we never missed a lick. We kept right on going, and we're proud to call Citrus County our home. Our main business that allows us to do all this is our 7 automobile dealerships that we have, which include Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Nissan, Chevrolet, Motorsports operation, buy here, pay here operation. We have 250 hardworking employees, and I've been up here 28 years now, but I still love the fact that you can get on these backcountry roads and you won't see a car for 10 miles. And the Ozella Trail, Moccasin Slough Road, Floral City Road over on the other side of our county is a breathtaking motorcycle ride. Stagecoach, a road in the center of our county. There's just so much to see in this county, so much nature, especially with the Withlacoochee Forest, which is a third of the real estate in this county. So a beautiful and safe place to ride a motorcycle. The Cedar Key is only 50 miles, and that's a really nice destination, as is the Bayport Inn to our south. And then, of course, we have Rock Crusher Canyon, which a couple of times a year, there are large concert events. And with a matter of fact, I will tell you that Tim McGraw and Faith Hill met each other at our venue here. So we've had some big names, had a lot of fun, raised a lot of money. Well, we're approaching the back of Crystal Motorsports where my wife does all her fundraising. And we have tables and chairs for 300 people back here. Right now, I'm storing my RV and my son's boat in here, but of course we can pull them out at a moment's notice. Then we have our built-in lickety-split bar that a lot of stories, and there's a lot of war stories at that bar, as you can imagine. And in the back we have a commercial kitchen. So we can feed 300 people here and drink them. Jewel and I are very excited to add the iconic Harley-Davidson brand to our Crystal family. We are pleased to announce the opening of Crystal Harley-Davidson.
We invite everyone to visit Crystal Harley-Davidson on Highway 19 in Homosassa. We are stocked with new Harley-Davidson motorcycles, parts, accessories, and riding apparel. Plus, every new and used bike comes with a warranty.
Harley-Davidson is one of the strongest and most recognizable brands in the world. We plan to carry on that impressive legacy as we grow the brand throughout the Nature Coast.
Hey, Dale Walkser here from the Wheels Through Time Museum. Of course, we're here to talk about rare Indian hill climbers today. And of course, I could spend hours talking about these two motorcycles, but we only have a few minutes. These bikes are actually layered in history. 1928 Indian hill climber, 1939 Indian hill climber. What an incredibly rare bike this is. A611 Indian Altoona 61 cubic inch alcohol burning hill climber in completely original condition. Some great features. The Altoona side valve motor, certainly the front forks, hill climb style handlebars, 2 kill buttons, little reminder on the steering dampener to add fuel. And of course they used alcohol in these, so it really wasn't regular gasoline. The engine itself is a real piece of beauty. Ball bearing crankshaft, ball bearing cams, polished crank, polished flywheels, and the bike is absolutely purpose-built for hill climbing. This chassis, the frame, certainly probably less than 6 or 8 of these ever built. Some of them had the 80 cubic inch motor. This one is 1,000 cc, therefore the serial number A611, alcohol, 61 cubic inch, serial number 1. You know, here's what we know about the history of this machine. It was sold new to Guy Urquhart in 1928. It was actually raced all the way to 1948. There's an interesting picture on the cover of the Motorcyclist magazine, 1948, of Floyd Emdy actually crashing this bike. Interestingly, there's actually 2 photos of the same crash from different angles, and of course Floyd was a Daytona road race winner in, I think, 1948 also. Took a little chance at hill climbing, crashed this motorcycle, and didn't tear it up too bad. You know, recently I had the opportunity to have this engine apart, and what a beautiful piece of work it is on the inside. Polished crankshaft, bronze cam cover, bronze intake manifold. Really one of the coolest things when I peel this motor down is the gear that drives the cam. It's called the pinion gear. Actually had Altoona stamped on it. The name Altoona came from the famous board track in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and this type of engine Jim Davis rode actually over 120 miles an hour on the 2-mile track in Altoona, Pennsylvania. In the board track era, subsequently they dubbed the same hill climb motor the Altoona motor, or the Altoona hill climber. You know, a lot of folks that come to Wheels Through Time and look at the hill climb hill don't really understand what these bikes are. Of course, a short explanation, a few of the pictures always tell, but they always wonder about the chains. And of course, the chains on the rear of a hill climber made for digging that dirt, climbing those hills. And chains were used from the earliest days of hill climbing. They still use them today. You know, over the years, classes in hill climbing have changed, and of course, in the early days, the 1928 Guy Urquhart bike was a Class A bike. That means it was built by the factory and raced by a professional rider. Jumping fast forward to this motorcycle, which is a 1939 B Scout, that's the B-class hill climbing. It was a little less stringent than the A-class. Almost anybody could run Class B. Of course, to have a factory hill climbing bike such as this was quite a privilege. Only 18 of these bikes ever built. And this particular bike, raced out of Guy Urquhart's shop, also in San Diego, has an interesting history. Mouse Molitek raced this motorcycle quite successfully for a very short period of time. I think he only ran for 2 seasons. And the bike is in incredibly great condition, which tells me one thing. Mouse was probably a great rider because he didn't flip this bike, tear it up, bend the handlebars, mash the back fender. I did notice one scratch on the back fender, but the bike is in incredible original condition. Original tires, 45 cubic inch Scout motors, serial numbered as a factory hill climber, and throughout, this motorcycle is just as good as any hill climbing bike as I've ever seen. You know, FCI 18, that's this motorcycle, recently found its way to Wheels Through Time, and the previous owner is a good friend of mine, and he had actually taken this bike out on the Antique Motorcycle Club America circuit, had it judged to really prove its provenance. I think our friend Robin Markey, who's probably the premier, really the expert in Indian history, I think he gave this bike high marks, 98 points out of 100. And the bike's in original condition, so certainly not a restored bike, still received high marks, a real testimony to this motorcycle, which is really one of the best surviving hill climbers in America. You know, when I found the Guy Urquhart A611 bike, this helmet came with it, so did the box, and of course the box, incredibly rare. It's got Indian decals all over it, Guy Urquhart's little sticker, and what was in this box? Bits and pieces and spare parts and sprockets and carburetors and all the stuff you take to your track. Along with that came the trumpet, equally marked, Indian decals on it everywhere, and I can only assume this trumpet was actually used for announcing races at the hill climb. Another great story here at the Time Machine, 2 rare Indian hill climbers, both in original running condition, both of the same provenance, and it's really a pleasure to bring them to you. Hope you enjoy them.
Everyone was right, I was born to ride.
Born to Ride is a multimedia marketing and promotional machine with TV, magazines, streaming radio, and internet advertising opportunities. There are tens of thousands of motorcycles. We reach the people who ride them. Born to Ride. Find out more at borntoride.com.
While taping an upcoming episode at the Biker in Need Benefit Run in Melbourne, Florida, the Born to Ride television crew ran into a NASCAR racing legend, Jeff Bodine, 1986 winner of the Daytona 500. We asked him if he had any memorable Dale Earnhardt stories and to tell us about his horrendous crash 12 years ago at Daytona.
Oh, I have a lot of the late Dale Earnhardt stories on and off the track. On the track, Dale and I didn't really see eye to eye. We kind of banged fenders a lot. Off the track, he was a great guy. He was a giving person. So even though I didn't care for him on the track, I really admired him off the track. He gave a lot. And the same thing we're doing here today. We're giving our time, our canned goods, our name to make this event worthwhile. And giving is a lot better than receiving. I've said that before. But one Earnhardt story was, well, I don't know which one to tell. We were at a little track racing one night, and we're out doing some interviews before the race, up on this balcony, and had a lot of people around, some police guarding everyone, so they couldn't get up. Dale, and there was a railing around the top of this little platform. Dale borrowed some handcuffs from one of the sheriffs. He handcuffed me to the railing. Now, you think how mad I got. I said, unhook me. I'm a little claustrophobic. I said, unhook these handcuffs. Of course, he left me there for a little while. Later on that evening, we got on the racetrack. Believe me, we did some banging out there. The folks loved it. It was a great time. Dale loved to kid around. He loved to squeeze you, hug you, handcuff you. It didn't matter. He was a fun-loving guy. It is awesome. It's incredible. I mean, going 200 plus at Daytona is absolutely incredible, but don't hit anything. It hurts. Believe me, it hurts. Just look at my crash in 2000 at Daytona. Just Google that. You'll see how bad things can get at Daytona. I'm very blessed to be alive. There's no question God saved me that day. He sent his angels down to protect me. If you don't understand that, just Google that direct and you'll understand why I'm saying that. Well, I've been racing since I was 5 years old. My father built me a little racer back then. Worked my way up through the ranks of racing, got into NASCAR modifieds in the 90s or 70s and 80s. My first full year in Cup, though, in NASCAR, the big league, was 82. I won Rookie of the Year, and just been kind of uphill or downhill since then. I won the Daytona 500 in 86. There's a ring. Pretty cool. I want another one of these rings. And actually, I did a little racing last year. You can see me behind me on the side of our trailer. Luke and Associates sponsored me. Hopefully, we'll get out there a little bit this year and do some more racing.